Okay, so I'll just begin with an overview of the Maamar. Just going to kind of run through it. So the Maamar begins with the pasuk Merosh Tzurim Admo u'mikvois asherenu. So he sees them, or he sees the peaks of the rocks and the hills. Comes to the rocks, it's a distant kind of seeing, but the voice, as he explains later in the Maamar, so this Asherenu, this is a close look, an intimate look. So he brought down the Medrash that at the beginning, the Medrash wanted to create the world. So first of all, the whole world was initially submerged, water in water, in the words of the Medrash, as we explained. And there were two attempts, as it were, to found the world, like a king who tries to build a Medina, and he puts down foundations, and then the water rises up and washes it all away. And likewise, the second time, so likewise, the Milo, there was first the dirt of Enosh, and then the dirt of the Mabul, till they came to Ovis, and they are the rocks, the firm rocks upon which Hashem can establish His world. So in order for this to happen, what's required to establish the world, as the pasuk says, He spreads the earth, the land, over the water, in other words, dry land, that in order for this to be achieved, there has to be the union of and what that means is that it's not enough just the union of chesed itself, but the very source of chesed, which is the Tzurim. He goes on to explain what does this mean, that the water is toyu. That's the swirling waters. So in order that toyu should not swamp and not, in other words, turf, the source of toyu falls into klipa, shvidas hakelim. So in order that should not swamp the world, so you need to have the union of the Ovis, the Reish Tzurim, the great rock. And the great rock, the Ovis, starting with Avram Avinu, that begins the 2,000 years of Torah, after the 2,000 years of chaos of Torah. But still, even after Elam HaTikun is established, there's still the danger of it being all swamped. And that's the Indian explains of the salty waters that need to be purified. Salty waters being, again, the Shabbamis Nefesh that is sourced in Elam HaTorah. So it's purified through going to the precious of the subterranean channels of the earth. And this precious avodah, the neshama, therefore, the neshama is called the Be'er Mayim Chaim, the well of living waters. And that's because what the neshama does is it sweetens through strenuous avodah, it sweetens the salty water of the Nefesh Ba'amis. And what's that? That's the avodah b'chol ma'idcha, over and above b'chol nafshecha, which is the state of the neshama l'mayla. But not only is the net effect that the nefesh alikis is mevarid, the nefesh b'hamis, but through this it has its aliyah, as we said now, the avodah b'chol ma'idcha. Even though it's yom ma'id, it's still b'chol ma'idcha. Now, in order for this avodah to be successful, going back now to the Reish Tzurim. What's the Reish Tzurim? So the office of the Midas, but the Reish Tzurim means the source of the Midas, which means what's required is an avodah, which is l'mayla mitam v'das. Otherwise, the whole avodah with nefesh b'hamis will not work. That's the Rosh Tzurim. But then the pasuk continues, and one would think that would be enough. The midas is they are rooted l'mayla mitam v'das, and where Mesiris Nefesh comes from, as the Rebbe explains at length in Tanya, from Perek Yud-Ches, that every Jew inherits this from the forefathers. That's not enough. It has to be the avodah b'gvois asherenu. And the difference being that the Rosh Tzurim Take is the Sheresh HaMidas, and it's relatively bligvol, but it's makif. All kavan is there should be b'primius. That's why it's arena, which means distance, but megvois, which means there's also midas. But it's the midas as they are makabel from seichel, as the Moishe and makabel from the ovos. So here we're talking about midas that are integrated and understood and felt, etc. Even though they are far less intense than the Rosh Tzurim, but they represent the culmination of avodah, because the whole point is that it be b'pnimius. And hence the difference between Ardenu and Asherenu. So the avodah is, as he says, and that's why he added that by the office, giving a very, very general overview here. That's when it comes to the office, it's medalig alahorim. When it comes to the voice, it's mekapitz. Because mekapitz is with 2 feet and medalig is with 1. The true aliyah, it happens dafka in the avodah pnimius, not in the makiv the avodah l'mayla mitam v'das. This is the Maila, and this affects the whole Kavanah of Dira B'Tachtonim. And hence, Avram is enjoying to listen to Sarah, who has the final say, as it were. Because that's the Tachlis and the Shleimus of the Avodah. And this is the general, all this represents the general Avodah B'Yid, which is Baruch Havaya L'Kei Yisrael, Min Ha'olam Ad Ha'olam, which is the avodah of Alma Disgalia, to bring it now the Disgalia, at the Rosh Tzurim and the Gvois HaSherenu. The Rosh Tzurim is Alma Disgalia, it's the Mayim B'Tam V'das, we have to mamshich and make it one avodah. It's not different stages. We're first in one stage, then we leave that stage and we go into the second stage. It's not what he's saying. The avodah has to be both the fusion of the Mayim B'Tam V'das in Tam V'das. That Alma Disgalia is nimshach in Alma Disgalia. So there was a whole arichas in Alma Disgalia, and what emerges is all relative. First, he explained that the Alma Disgalia is analogous to the ocean, where the creatures are bottled to the source of life. Not so in Alma Disgalia, where even though Hakol Hoya Mina offer, but there's a sense of complete separation and disconnect. So we have to bring in Alma Disgalia the experience, the truth, the gilui of Alma Disgalia. There was a whole arichas I'm not going to repeat, but there's a tremendous arichas over several chapters in Alma Disgalia and Alma Disgalia in its various manifestations. Even Alma Disgalia is not bittul b'mitzias. It doesn't feel the dvar havaya because it would be totally bottled. Alma Disgalia, there is a mitzias, but the mitzias is a mitzias that is, it can't be masig with dvar havaya, but on the other hand, it has the ideas hametzias. It knows it's being brought into existence every moment, even though it cannot grasp that divine energy. So therefore, it pales this bittul that doesn't allow, like the fish, to separate from this source. But in Alma Disgalia, this is not even this is not felt to the point that can be completely ignored, denied, and defied. Then he went to whole arichas, that's it between machshava and dibur. Machshava is alma diskasya, dibur is alma disgalia. There's tremendous arichas in that which needs to be relearned and go on to and chaz it over and over again, at least once. So the kavanah is, again, the fusion of the two. If it's got to come down to dibur and to Moishe, Moishe is a koyach nifred. That's the yin of Erevin, even though the two Rishuyas are Rishuyas of Kedusha, but they're separate, and that's the yin of the Erev, to make it one. It's Chesed and Gvura, Michal and Gavriel. Erev is the gematria, both Chesed and Gvura. It's their fusion, and that's the Kavanah, and this all happens but through a Gili which is higher than both. And that's Tiferes Atzmi, which confuse Chesed and Gvura and make them one. And then he went to the chid between Erev Chatzeres and Erev Muvois, the alleyways, which is the internal, and Erev Chatzeres, the external, the Yichud of Chesed and Gvura, and the Yichud of the lower spheres as well, of Netzach and Hoy. This is again Baruch Havana Keisod Min Olam V'ad Olam. The mitzvah of Erev, that's Dafka Lekei Yisrael, which is Yaakov Dafka the Avodah of Tiferes of the Etzim of the Anochim. Which pales the shleimus of no unique chitzonim, which was not the case in Yitzchak, Avraham and Yitzchak. And he traced the various chibur of these two of Alma Disgal and Alma Diskasya, as it is even in Chacham and Bina, all the way down to Netzach and Hoyd. And that's similar to the Nes and Teva. So there's three Hanogas, there's Nes, there's Teva, and then there's Nes that is Mlubish in Teva, and that's the Kach, that's the Kavona, that's Yudis Tamos. Like was Yudis Kislev. And this is the Tzadiki Hadoyer HaMamshech, in Ma'odah by Neshamas Yisrael. And he connects it to the capital of the Fidik Rebbe of that year. Notwithstanding the fact that the Gemara says, or rather the Gemara explains it's talking about Divrei Torah. That's where there should be no Hagbolah, as opposed to Bakashas where there should be Ka'ani B'Pesach. So it must be from the Marsha that a person might think that how could they fulfill this? Again, as I pointed out, it can't be that the question is the limit on God, but the limit on the self. The person should have the union of, as Chassidus explains the Marashah, Kilui Pnimis HaTorah, Gal Einei V'Abitet Niflois B'Toresecha. The Eibusher says, I can do it. You were in Mitzrayim, Memte Shari Tumah, and in Kamfin Nishorim, you went to these greatest heights. So therefore, you should ask for and can have union of in Divrei Torah. And in Divrei Torah he says, Gufu, we mean Pnimis HaTorah. Then there was a big chiddush at the end. It's also even true of Dvarim Gashmi, which is really the way the Mefarshim explained the pasuk at the Pshat level, not the Gemara. But even explained, even the Gemara as we explained in the previous year, they reconciled the contradictions, not a contradiction. We gave two answers at the end of the previous year. How it's not a stira, that even the Gashmi is also the in the two levels of Hachav, Picha V'Amalehu. And he concluded with an extraordinary bracha in this regard. Okay, now we'll begin the next maamar.